I think this record or this double record or whatever this thing is the natural extension of having done Blame It on Gravity with Salim and Rip, and coming out here now to Austin, to the Treefort, and working with Jim Valentine. It's like Blame It on Gravity on steroids. It's bigger and louder and cooler and weirder.
I think this record's going to be really exciting to Old 90 Sounds fans, and even well, I really hope it is, because that's also a big part of the two records that we've made. We really do think about the fans and how they're going to respond. This record is going to have songs that remind people of the very, very early days of the band, which is something that I've been trying to get at, which is this vibe of the four of them playing in a room together and just rocking out, with no sort of studio trickery or fancy overdubs and things like that. So this record has a lot of that, like Brown Haired Daughter, I think, is going to be one that people really like. State of Texas, I think, is going to be another favorite. And then we've got, there's just so many songs. Like this, the thing that also started us on the double album thing is that there are songs all across the board that sound like different parts of their career. It's sort of like a rock and roll Bible, for lack of a better word. There's all kinds of things that this band does, and it's fun to sort of shake off the shackles of a traditional, 10-song record where you start going, oh well, that doesn't fit in, or that's a little too out there. Like, there is no out there on this record.
Salim's got a great bedside manner, and he knows us really well, and he has something I appreciate, which is an idea of the big picture of our career arc, or our fans and what it is that they're looking for. Because in the same way that I try not to worry about what the critics are going to think, or what the label per se is going to think, not that the label's such a the bad guy, but just other people. What Sartre said, l'enfer c'est les autres, hell is others. So you got to forget about others, but it's nice to have Salim there remembering that there are others, and sort of what it is that they are going to think about stuff. So I appreciate that. I appreciate his boldness. Like, he's always pushing for something new, and he's willing to let an idea win that's not his idea, which is sometimes you don't find in a producer or even in an artist. But Salim is good at pushing us, and for me, like, I've got to the point where I trust him enough to, he'll say, try it ska, and I'll try it ska. I don't think he's ever said ska. He should say ska. But I talked about You Are No Simple Machine, and how it had been this kind of, waltz that was dying on the vine, and it wound up being this real energetic, kind of bluesy song. And that's not something I go to. That's not a default for me. But I was willing to try it, and I'm so glad that I was, because it saved the song. And he did that, countless times in the last 2 months. The Old 97's fan base is rabid and supremely intelligent and has impeccable taste. I don't know exactly how we were lucky enough to get one, and I know that in this day and age, having a fan base like that is, incalculably valuable. It's crazy. It's a weird world out there, and I can't imagine trying to break through right now for the first time. And having the fan base we do makes it a lot easier to do this for a living and to keep going. I can't imagine trying to just break through the noise right now as a first-time artist. But I don't have to, because I got this crazy, sweet fan base. And I try and think about how we got it. I think that when we started in the mid-90s, it was the dawn of the internet and chatting and blogging, and I think that our fans tended to be somewhat collegiate and intelligent and tech savvy, even though I, for instance, at the time wasn't. I'm still not incredibly tech savvy, but I think we benefited a lot from that, And I think that we've been good about, maintaining a connection with the fans by keeping our output up, and maintaining a certain level of quality. I like to think that we haven't had any real huge duds. We haven't jumped the shark. Maybe it helps that we have never had a major radio hit, because I think that you can burn yourself out if you're in the public eye too ubiquitously. But I feel good about where we are. I don't really know how to reach more people except to just keep doing it. I've always believed in persistence, and how that translates as far as, do I go on Twitter 5 times a day? Do I play 200 shows a year? Do I put an album out every 15 months? I try to do all those things, and I try to write. I just try and work. I've got a weirdly I've got a big work ethic. I've got what my father-in-law would call a big motor, and I got to keep going, man. I can't die. There's sometimes when I'll feel the shock that's similar to like a moving sidewalk where you step onto it or step off of it. For instance, if I just woke up from a nap and I step off the bus and suddenly there's 3 12-year-old kids that have driven 6 hours, and I know that moment means a lot to them, and I'm, I worry for a second that I can't bring it. I worry that I'm going to let them down, and at the same time there's that tiny part of you that's like, why do I have to be on right now? I don't feel like being on. But usually it takes about as long as it takes just to look at them to realize, I was that kid 100 times, and how hard is it for me to just pull it together for 5 seconds and be a nice person? And I'm grateful to them, and I don't take it for granted. I feel like I've gotten pretty good at catching myself and reminding myself that it's okay. This is a gift that I'm giving, and I'm being given something in return. The gift of being able to do this for a living. But some fans are so sweet. It's true. It's always like the kids who play music. There's a kid named Scott in Dallas who's just starting out, and I did what amounted to a private show in Roanoke, Texas recently for some folks that have become friends of mine. And, I've got a school out there that needed to fund their athletic department, so they hired me to come sing, and it was sweet. It was great. It was a fundraiser. It was pretty low key. So this kid Scott was there, and I said, "Get up and rock, man! You've got a talent show tomorrow night. You could use a little, practice." And he got up and he killed, and he sounded so great, and I just felt like that was me. That was me 20 years ago, but that was me, and it was sweet. I love that feeling of it just keeps going. Like a river that just keeps flowing and flowing, and you can't begrudge the next drop that comes because it's newer than you. It's sweet. I love it, man. I see a little bit of me in him, so it's like it just lives on. The future will figure itself out. This record it's enormous, and I can't believe we've undertaken something like this. It's trying to make 2 records in the time you would normally make 1 record, and with the budget of 1 record. And not that I'm complaining, our budget's good, but we're here in this beautiful place, but God, man, it's a lot. So we got to finish mixing it, and we've got about a week to do that, and then we'll master it at the end of this month. I am guessing there will be an October release. If it's March or whatever, I won't freak out, I hope. But I think it'll be good. I think it'll come out. I think it'll be a big deal. I really feel like it's something of a watershed moment in our band. So we'll see. The 97s will be touring all summer behind the Covers EP that we're putting out, I think, the end of June. And then we will take a break, let the record come out, and then Murray and I will probably do a bunch of promo obligations, where we just fly around and sort of get people excited about the record coming out. And then the band will go out at some point at the end of the year, and then the band will tour. I'm hoping that 11 is going to be a huge year for us.
Meet on the elevator in the Grand Theater. Yeah, I look you in the eye, say I'd like to see you later. Would you like to dance? I'll take you to the Tate Museum. Pictures there, but I can't see them. Oh, and if you was there, I'd overlook the Roman Colosseum. It would not stand a chance. We know where we are. We're not very far away. We are not very far away.